Ben from WorldFeast with another tip to level up your curry game. This is tamarind concentrate, and it's what most people think of when a recipe calls for tamarind. This is tamarind pulp and includes the fibre and the seeds of the tamarind plant. They are not the same thing. On their own, they are mouth-puckeringly sour. In a curry, they add a nice little sourness, which you can get from our vindaloos and our Malabar curries. And because I love you all, I'm going to make them up and I'm going to taste them just to see what happens to my face. So typically, you dilute tamarind pulp in a ratio of 2 parts water to 1 part pulp. Now, that alone is not enough because you have to mash it in order to release all of the pulp from within your pulp block. Now, we're just going to let that sit for 15 minutes whilst it soaks up all of the tamarind goodness out of your pulp block. Concentrate, on the other hand, if a recipe calls for a certain amount of tamarind juice or tamarind liquid, you want to reduce that number by 4 and then make up the difference in water. So let's take as an example a recipe that calls for 2 tablespoons of tamarind liquid. You add half a tablespoon of tamarind pulp because that's 1/4 of your 2 tablespoon amount. And then you make up the difference in water. We'll give that 15 minutes to rest. Then we'll examine the colour difference and I'll eat them. The final step with our tamarind juice is to strain it to ensure there's no pulp left in your tamarind water and to remove every last ounce of that lip-smacking flavour. And there you have it. The first thing that is very apparent is the colour. On the left hand side, your tamarind juice, a light brown. On the right hand side, your tamarind concentrate, very, very dark brown. And this wouldn't be the least scientific experiment in the world without somebody suffering. So, because I love you, I'm going to give them a taste. So, first things first, a spoonful of tamarind liquid. Oh, it is sour, that's undeniable, but it's also really bright and sparky and zippy and fruity and absolutely delicious. This one frightens me. Have a goosey at that. Let's give it a go. Oh, ah! Whoa! Ah! That was sour. Yeah, I recommend doing that because that was quite good fun. So what do I think? That is duller, darker tasting, more burnt sort of molasses type flavour. Still tasty, less fruity, less zippy, less bright. And so here's what you get. Here's what you get when you cook with this one as opposed to this one. The flavours are slightly muted with the concentrate. They're much brighter and much more zippy when you use fresh tamarind pulp. And that is the way they are supposed to be. And so when you cook your South Indian food, if you've got the time and if you can, track down some pulp, make some tamarind liquid and experience South Indian cuisine the way it should really be. Don't just eat, feast.